Back in New York City at the 2026 Ivy League Wrestling Tournament, podium time. Here inside Levy and Jim, the 125-pound champion, Mark Anthony McGowan of Princeton, a winner by major decision over Davis Motika of Penn at 133. It was Tyler Ferrara of Cornell with a last-second takedown to extend his margin of victory to a major decision over the number 1 seed, Evan Mugawi. And we go to 141 pounds here this evening. Mike Cousins, former Princeton national champ, Pat Glory along with you. Regular season, Vince Cornella defeated CJ Composto 7-4. So that means it was just a 1 takedown difference. Cornella, the number 1 seed, is going to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time. Composto, a 3-time All-American. They're ready to go.
Representing Penn, CJ Composto. And his opponent wearing the red and representing Cornell, Vince Cornella.
There's a bit of swagger with that entrance. A lot of guys jog out. The slow walk, maybe a little bit of intimidation for Vince Cornella. For the senior from Lafayette, Colorado, again, CJ Composto, the senior from nearby Westfield, New Jersey. The 3-time All-American for the Quakers, going to the NCAA tournament for the 4th time in just a couple of weeks in Cleveland. Now, they had really divergent matches in the semifinals. Cornella was a winner over the 5 seed, Matthew Martino of Princeton, took care of business 14-3. However, Composto was at the opposite end of the spectrum. He got a scare from Kamari Mans of Brown, the number 3 seed. He was down by a couple of takedowns at the end of the first period, really revved it up in the second, and ended up winning 14-11 to go along with more than 3 minutes of riding time to earn his spot here in the finals.
Yeah, both of these guys super familiar with each other, so I expect it to be a very tight battle, tightly contested battle. 2 major decisions through 2 matches. I would not have expected that.
No,
I would not have had that on my bingo card. But sheer domination from the first 2 matches. We'll see if that trend continues.
Speaking of trends, it was interesting to look at the way that Cornell's season played out, because there were a handful of guys, especially in the starting lineup, that we'll highlight, but Vince Cornella was among them, who did not compete in the first semester. And we'll mention it time and time again, how bruised and beaten up guys are at this time of the year, that sitting out that first semester does have somewhat of a physical advantage.
Yeah, injuries in the sport of wrestling, you know, unfortunately they go together a little too regularly. But yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of dealing with lineups that that have all these injuries and stuff. It's unfortunate, but inevitably a part of the sport and something you have to manage around. And you know, workloading is very much a thing in the sport of wrestling nowadays.
Cornella was great in Ivy League competition this year. His only loss was back in January against Lehigh's Luke Stanich. Composto last year, where Penn was right on their home turf in Philadelphia, finished 4th and was the Ivy League champion in 2025.
An attempt there from Cornell. That was a nice shot. Just wasn't able to connect on the leg. Both of these guys just back and forth so far in the hand fight, and really just feeling each other out. You could tell they'd wrestled each other quite a few times.
How much of a difference does that make when you've had several years of getting your hands on a guy of what you anticipate and likely what he anticipates?
It definitely changes the trajectory. If you're wrestling someone, you never wrestled before, maybe you watch some film, but it's harder to do specific game planning. You kind of have to let the wrestling, figure itself out. But when you've wrestled somebody so often, you have their style, you understand how they wrestle, you understand their tendencies. and you try to capitalize on the things that maybe you didn't capitalize on if you had struggles with them in the past. But it gives you more data points to sort of figure out, hey, what went wrong, what went right? How do I wrestle this person specifically versus just generically going out there and trying to let wrestling happen? You're a little bit more calculated and thoughtful around how you want to wrestle your opponent.
And that can certainly lead to diminished offense, since we saw 2 majors and now no scoring in the first period.
Totally agree. I feel like, the more you wrestle, the lower amount of points you're, generically going to be able to score on your opponent.
Big hope for Cornell once everybody settles into Cleveland as well. We'll be trying to get a wrestler back to the finals. Last year was their first year without a finalist since 2007. Points on the board for Cornella, 4-0 the lead.
Cornell getting to work on top already. That is an incredible stat line. That last year was the first year without a Cornell finalist since 2007. Very, very testament to their stature, but wow.
There's the reversal to get Composto on the board, and then the escape for Cornella. It was an Iowa-esque run of sending guys to the finals. That's for sure.
Absolutely incredible.
Half a minute in the second. Vince Cornella with a takedown advantage over the 3-time All-American and defending Ivy League champion CJ Composto of Penn.
We talked about injuries. The other thing, too, with the sport of wrestling is just longevity. It's so hard to do this for so long. Your body gets beat up, you get fatigued, the weight cuts get to you and things like that. It's amazing that guys like CJ Composto have year over year been able to produce at this level and find a way on the podium. It's really impressive, and I'm not just giving him credit because he's a Jersey guy, but he's been very impressive throughout his college career, and we'll see if he's able to cap it off with another Ivy League championship.
That takedown was a product of just tireless work to get to his position. He cuts Composto to start the period 5-3. Only 15 seconds of riding time for Cornella.
Cornella bringing him right back in bounds.
I thought that was certainly going out with continuing action on the edge, and instead Cornella just indefatigable in his effort, looking for another takedown here. It's only a 2-point match with 65 seconds left at 141.
And Composto doing a good job. He's keeping his head up. He's staying underneath that leg. No points have been awarded yet. Cornella trying to sneak that foot around and collect the takedown of himself. But that's going to be a stalemate. And another shot from Cornella. He's in deep on a righty high crotch. Cutting down to that bottom leg. Looking to hook it, but Composto doing a really good job with that back ankle. He's really good in the scrambles. Just so sticky when he gets to that back ankle. Hard to get it back once he's got it. And it's going to be another stalemate here.
There's 23 seconds left. Impetus is on Composto to force the action here. A takedown would give him the lead. 10 seconds to go. Regular season, it was Cornella 7-4 over Composto. And here at the Ivy League Championship, they're out with 1 second to go. So at back-to-back weight classes, the championship belongs to a big red wrestler. At 141 pounds, it's the #1 seed, Vince Cornella, by decision.
Yeah, really good job by Cornella. Just stayed the course, came out aggressive, picked up a takedown, and closed it out. Get his hand raised and becomes the 2026 Ivy League champion at 141 pounds.
Taking down a two-time All-American. And both of those guys could very well meet again at the NCAA Championships, airing on ESPN and the ESPN app from Cleveland. Coming up, our match to watch tonight is Jackson Joy, the Ivy League Freshman of the Year, against the #2 seed Cross Wasilewski of Penn.